Hello everyone. Good morning to you all. How are you? Hope you all will be fine and staying at home healthy. Okay, I'm your general science teacher of class 4 from PMGHS-II, and today we have a lecture of chapter number 1st, that is characteristics and life process of organisms. Now, let's see the outline of today's lecture. Number first is characteristic of living things. Number second is similarities and differences between plants and animals, and the third one is classification of animals. So first have a look on the characteristic of living things. Okay, dear students, on the way from your home to school you see a lot of things around you, and there were some living things and while others are non-living things. So let's have a look on the living things and non-living things. First, you see in this picture that you have non-living things, like you have pencil, like you have clock, like you have doll, like you have ice cream. So these all are the non-living things, and the things that they are called living things, like we have human beings, like we have animals, trees, plants. They all are living things, and I think you know very well about living and non-living things now. Okay, now let's revise the characteristic of living things. Number first character of living thing is move. Yes, living things can move on their own. Animals move from one place to another in search of food or shelter. And you know, animals like dog, cat, and human beings walk with the help of their legs, so they can move from one place to another, right? Okay, number second is growth. Yes, plants and animals growth with time. Like you see in this picture, that child grows into an adult man, and also you see in this picture that seed grows into a new plant. So plants and animals can growth easily. Number third character is breathe. Yes, all living things need air to breathe. We breathe through our nose, and also plants breathe through their tiny spores called stomata. Yes, these are called stomata. You see in this picture tiny holes. These tiny holes are called stomata, and through this tiny spores plants can respire or they can breathe. Okay, now come towards the fourth character of living thing. Yes, number fourth character is food, and you know very well that living things need food to move or to stay alive. So animals or human beings can eat food easily. Yes, we can eat plants, and animals can hunt other animals or eat flesh of other animals. Similarly, plants make their own food in the presence of sunlight, air, and water. So they also need food, but they make their own food. Okay, now come towards the fifth character of living things. Yes, number fifth character is sense. Yes, living things can feel changes around them, like we feel hot or we feel cold. Similarly, animals and plants can also feel changes. Okay, now the fifth character is reproduction. So, reproduction is a process through which living things can produce more of their own kind. Like you see in this picture, child grows into an adult, and similarly, birds lay or they produce eggs, and similarly, a hen lay eggs, then it develops into a chick, so they can reproduce of their own kind. So dear students, this was all about the characteristics of living things. Now come towards the second outline of today's lecture, that is similarities and differences between plants and animals. So let's study the similarities and differences. Okay, first I will tell you that plants and animals are both living things, but these living things have similarities and differences. So first have a look on the similarities between them. So number first similarity is grow, that plants and animals both can grow. Like you see in this picture, animals can grow time to time and plants can also grow. Number second is respire. Yes, plants and animals can also respire. You see in this picture like fish respire through gills and plants respire through their leaves, and their leaves have small holes called stomata. Through these stomata they can respire. So plants and animals both can respire. Number third character is reproduce. So animals and plants both can reproduce. Like you see in this picture, this is a bird pigeon. They produce of their own kind, like they lay eggs. Similarly, you see in this picture a hen lay eggs, then it grows into a chick, and then it grows into an adult hen. So they can reproduce. Similarly, you see in this picture that seed grows into a new plant. So this is called reproduction. Okay, now come towards the differences between plants and animals. So the difference between plants and animals is number first is plants usually green in color. Like you see in this picture, you usually see plants, they are always green in color. And animals have variety of colors. Like this one picture, you have many animals and they have many different colors, various colors. Okay, number second is food. So animals do not make their own food, they eat food or flesh of other animals, or they can eat, or they can hunt other animals, and they can eat plants also. But plants are very much, you can say that plants make their own food in the presence of sunlight, air and water. So this is the difference between plants and animals, that plants do not make their own food, but animals cannot make their own food, but plants can make their own food. Number third is movement. So animals can move from one place to another in search of food or in search of shelter. But you see in this picture that plants are fixed in position. They can't move from one place to another, right? So this is also the difference between plants and animals. Now the third one outline of today's lecture is classification of animals. So let's see this page. This is your book page. On this page you have a classification of animals. But before going to start the classification of animals, let's do an activity. So, are you ready, dear students? Okay. So, students, put your hand on the back of your neck. Done? Okay. Now move your hand downward. Did you feel any bone? Yeah, this is called backbone or vertebral column of your body. So, dear students, now I am going to tell you about the classification of animals. But first, I will tell you the meaning of classification. Classification means to classify something or to sort things into groups to show how they are alike, right? So, animals are divided into two major groups on the basis of vertebral column or backbone. Number first is vertebrates and number second is invertebrate. So the animals that has a spine or a backbone, so they are called vertebrates. Like you see in this picture, we have a lion, we have a snake, we have turtle, or we have ostrich, or we have a fish. So they all have backbone in their bodies. Also, you have sparrow, you have dog, you have fish, you have frog, and you have a cat. So they all have backbone in their bodies. So they are called vertebrates. Good. Okay, now come towards the second one, that is invertebrate. So the animals that do not have a spine or a backbone, they are called invertebrate. Like we have butterfly, like we have crab, like we have earthworm, like we have grasshopper, like we have starfish, jellyfish. So these animals do not have spine or backbone, so that's why they are called invertebrates. Clear? Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the today's homework, that is that you have to read the shared pages. Your shared pages are 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 pages you have to read. And second question is, write any 2 differences between plants and animals on your rough notebook. Okay, so as I have told you about the differences and similarities between plants and animals very clearly, so it's very easy for you to write the differences between plants and animals. Just you have to write the differences. Okay, dear students, now it's time to say goodbye and stay home and stay safe. Thank you.